Hi everybody, it's me Hattie and I am back with another dream home. So this time we're going to be creating a home for 2 secret agents. The secret agents were made by CXman on the Sims 4 gallery and I absolutely fell in love with them when I saw them. I'm now following them on the Sims 4 gallery in case they make any more incredible Sims, as I do with all the entry makers. I just think they're so good. And the storyline for the secret agents is that Arlene and Ashton are not exactly a family. At least that's what they say. Just friends has become their okay. And although one of them might have feelings for the other, which is completely impossible since they're just friends, they wouldn't have the time for a relationship. These 2 workaholics met through work. They are both secret agents dreaming of one day becoming rich and owning the fanciest, most modern mansion. But for now, that's just a dream for the 2 roommates. Now, this house is possibly the most modern house. In fact, yes, it is the most modern house I've ever built. And I would say that the interior of it is also very fancy. So I think it fits them both perfectly. Now, I know that it is completely crazy in the way that it, of course, it is going to stand out. Like, secret agents, I would always imagine to be undercover and try and keep their professions separate to everything. So try and make their home life just be very simple and not cause any attention or anything. Whereas this house is completely crazy. But I think that if it's a modern house, maybe in the future, if you're thinking about futuristic houses, maybe it could happen. Some houses might look like this. I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. I wouldn't know. But this is just what I like to imagine houses to look like in the future. And I just think for that idea, it's just a really interesting idea. And maybe this would be an ordinary family house in an area somewhere. I don't know. It's The Sims. You can do absolutely anything. But the inside of the house is very fancy. But it's also a little bit undercover in the way that even though it is fancy and it's very colourful, I think that you wouldn't specifically know that they were diamond agents or secret agents or what their professions are. So it's nice in that way. I also put in a separate basement. So there's a basement behind the property which is very well hidden in the bushes. And I put that in right at the end so you'll see that. And that is where they do their work and they go down there. The house itself is very bachelor, very bachelorette, so in the way that the rooms are completely separate and it could potentially be a party house as well. I got a lot of inspiration from the bachelorette house, I think, when I was doing things like the interior. I built the house ages ago, so none of the exterior, even though they look a little bit similar in that way. But the interior, I think, in the way that it's just very colourful and it's set out for singular people. So I paid a lot of attention to that, so hopefully you'll see it. Apologies if the first part, so the exterior, isn't as high quality as I usually have my videos in. The reason was because I actually put the video on YouTube as unlisted ages ago and I just wasn't happy with it. Like, I was really, really sad on the video. It was when I was having a really bad day, and I know I laugh about it because I laugh at everything, to be quite honest. So there's nothing that I don't tend to laugh about on my videos, but I was having like a particularly bad day and I just felt like it wouldn't be a good idea to put it out. It wasn't that I was angry or anything, it was just that sometimes I don't feel up to doing videos and that's just how I am. That is just absolutely how I am. And that one day that I was gonna put it out, I just felt no, like I'm not up for it. I wasn't doing the best audio, I wasn't happy. I would have been fake if I'd have put it out, and that's not me. I don't like to be fake, I like to be real with everyone. And if I'm feeling upset, I'll say it. So that's why I didn't want to do it, so there we go. So I hope that's all right. But anyway, going back to the build was very unusual and I had a lot of fun just tampering with this middle area. Now, I know that it's probably starting to look like I do my modern builds in a very similar way to all the rest, and I know, I really do. I can't get away from that. I just really enjoy doing my builds in this style. I don't know what it is, but I absolutely love it. And if I was going to live in a modern build, it would be a build that would be ridiculously tall. I don't know what it is. I don't even think I would like to live in a tall house. Knowing me, I'd probably only use the basement or the bottom floor. I have no idea. But I don't know, I think for a build, it's just really interesting to make tall builds, and it always just looks really appealing for me. I've always imagined that future builds will always be quite tall to maximize space capacity, because with more people, with the planet being more crowded, I'd imagine that space is something, especially in capitals and things, that is really thought about, and it would be something that maybe houses will become taller and taller like they are in places in cities. So yeah, that's what I would imagine. So that's why I make my modern builds taller most of the time, because that's what I see as being more accurate. So that's what I did there. This part in here was a really odd place. It looks fantastic from the outside, but decorating this on the inside was an absolute pain. Wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I hope you like it, because it's something that I'm definitely trying out. I don't know, I like the frill, if that makes sense. I like it. I think that the way that I would imagine it is to be able to heat up a room without actually using any electricity or anything like that. Just using solar energy, if that makes sense. I don't even know very much about that, but I think for The Sims, just making unusual designs for walls and things, and just making sure that that can happen, so a room can be heated up purely just by the sun. I don't know. That would be really fun for me, and to create a build which looks like it's energy efficient and really cool. I think that that's how a lot of people found my channel, surprisingly. I think I've mentioned this before, but I get a few emails from like people that want to be able to improve the energy efficiency on their houses. And that's because I did Eco Home a while ago. And I don't know which video I mentioned that, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it though. But it always makes me smile when I get an email of someone saying, you know, what would you recommend for this house, or solar panels and stuff. I have no idea. I just build them on The Sims 4. And as long as my houses look eco-friendly, then that's good enough for me, I suppose. But yeah, of course I'd love to live in a house like this. I always try to do my bit as well with eco-friendliness. So I always try to recycle and things like that. I've actually been quite into recycling recently. It's something that I would never push on anybody, because I don't like pushing things. I don't know. I always feel like when people say things on videos, it's almost like a lecture, and I never want to be like that. I don't want to. But for me personally, I just enjoy it, and it's something that I have to do anyway, so I don't even have a choice, because where I'm in Germany, oh my goodness, it's so strict with recycling. So yeah, that's what's going on at the moment. But anyway, I was using some amazing bushes, and I love the ones which are just as if they shine almost. I don't know, they're an amazing green colour. I absolutely love them. They're probably my favourite plant in The Sims 4, and it changes. So now my favourite plant is like the bush plant. It's like the circle. I don't know how to describe it. I also use some cactus plants. I don't really know. It got suggested a while back to do a utopian modern style build, and I really like the idea of that. So I think this is definitely what I would think of when I would say utopian styled build, mansion, house. I don't know. I enjoyed doing it though. I played around with the roofing, so the roofing was very circular, and at this point it was looking really bad. I did actually extend it, so I would say that if you're ever trying to create something similar to this, if you like the style of this, then just go for it. Just absolutely do something which you haven't done before, and if it looks stupid, make it work. Make it work, and that is what I did. I made something absolutely ridiculous, and in the end I think it actually looked okay. That's just my personal opinion, of course. Not everyone's probably going to think that. In fact, my strange builds, the ones that are really odd, they sometimes taken in a really good way, but sometimes not everybody likes them, which is fine, because everyone's going to have their own opinions, and that's okay, and I don't mind that. I always think that it's best, I mean for me anyway, even if somebody doesn't like my build, I always appreciate constructive feedback rather than just negative feedback, like just negativity. And sometimes I get a mixture, but I really do appreciate, even when somebody doesn't like a build, they can say, it wasn't for me, but I like this, 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 and this, or you could do this differently next time, because that really helps me out, rather than just the, this was rubbish comment, or I don't like you, or I don't know. At this point, I was putting in some of the shrubs. So some tall plants went up there, some trees. I thought 3 looked really good. And I thought they looked really nice there. I don't know, it's just really unusual to have them there, and it did remind me of Eco Home in a way. I do think that this house is entirely different to Eco Home, and I know that a lot of my modern builds do end up with trees on top. I do apologise for that if that's something that you don't like, because if it isn't, then let me know, because I can change it. I can do a modern build without this many trees. Personally, I love it. It just makes me feel happy, like when I see this much greenery. And it just looks really unrealistic for me. And I think for me, that's what I really like about The Sims, the fact that it is a little bit unrealistic and you can create your perfect image of a house or something like that. Like I could create my dream home, and I'm going to at some point. I'm actually going to create my dream house. At some point in the future, I will create my dream home. I don't know how it will look. I'll have to have a massive think about pictures and things. But let me know in the comments, what would your dream home be like? And let me know what you'd want to see in your own dream house. Would you go for like a modern build? Would you go for a family country home? It just always amazes me how many different styles of houses you can get. And I don't know, I think the houses are a very personal thing. So that'll be really interesting to find out. So yeah, let me know in the comments. But anyway, this was when I was doing the front garden. The front garden was very different. That's the best way I can put it. It was something that I just haven't tried out before, and I was in a real trying mood. Sometimes I'm like that. Sometimes I just want to stick to builds which I know is going to go down well, and sometimes that's just like a random suburban build. And I think that some people get tired of that because it's the same thing sometimes. But with this build, I just wanted to try new things, and I was actually really happy with myself for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that you're happy with yourself for doing something, or you're proud of yourself for doing something. I don't think I was necessarily proud of myself. I can't remember the last time I was actually really proud of myself. I honestly can't remember. I have no idea. But anyway, this was when I was putting in some windshields. I thought windshields on the side of the house would be a really cool idea, and I tried to make them work in the best way that I can. I can actually do a really unique thing with windshields. I just don't know what it is going to be yet, but hoping that will be out in the future. Maybe like a windshield house. I have no idea. I wanted to do something with water for a while, so maybe a water build, something to do with a waterfall running down it. I'm obsessed with that idea because I've seen some people create waterfalls in The Sims 4 and it looks incredible. So definitely want to try that out, but I just don't know when that's going to be. I was tampering around with the lights because lights are always very important, and with this build, the lights really made it. I didn't want them to be too noticeable on the exterior of the build though, so I tried to keep it simple and hidden. That's what I was going for, and I think that they're okay. They're a little bit subtle. I like that. I do tend to go with the same lights. I was pretty boring in terms of the lights, really. I do. I just go with the same ones each time and it just never fails. But lights are lights. I mean, there's not so many ways that you can experiment with them, really. So I wasn't too upset about that. I think by this point, I was just seeing what else I could do. Okay, water. That was something that I forgot, or at least I forgot that I added. Yeah, water. I added some water in the middle there. That looks pretty interesting. Maybe that will be the family's way or the couple's way of generating natural water by making it fall into there, and then it would, I don't know, that would fill up their baths, showers, sinks. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Anyway, this was the interior of the house. The interior of the house, I wanted it to be subtle because I don't want anybody to find out that Arlene and Ashton are actually secret agents. I want people to have no idea and then be completely surprised when they get told it. Now, of course, there are some subtle things in the house which will say, to us at least, that they are diamond agents. Or at least I think they're diamond agents, secret agents. There are two career paths and I keep getting confused. But anyway, I would imagine that they would be diamond agents. And the only reason I say that is because I put loads of diamond things in the home. So it would be a shame if I now change my mind, or if they turned out not to be diamond agents. I'd be like, oh, I went to all that effort with like all these diamonds and stuff. So hoping that they are. But the lounge was very, very bright. I had no idea what was going on here, but it almost didn't need lights. In fact, you could actually take the lights off and you could have it just being the natural light of this home. And I think that would be really cool and interesting. And I hope that that will be of some sort of use to people. I mean, if you want an energy efficient house, this could definitely be it. It could actually be an actual energy efficient house, The Sims 4, because I'm pretty sure that this room does not need lights. Of course, in the night time it will be different, but I have no idea. This was a really strange wall. I was thinking about futuristic and fancy because it was supposed to be a fancy modern mansion. And I thought that this was quite fancy in here. And I thought having loads of TVs all over the wall, it would be very, very distracting. But I wanted a display, like an artsy display more than anything. So I thought that would be a really cool cover as well. The fact that maybe the girl is like an artist or something, or even the male, I don't know. But I just thought of a cover, something that I could have there, so I liked that. Some pink in the hallway. My husband loves pink, and I know loads of men that like pink, but I always feel like when I put pink in houses, maybe it's a little bit too feminine, and I probably should have changed that. I think that's something that I will be careful with in the future. Maybe I will not do as much pink on the hallways and things, because I don't want to ruin the house in any way. Like, I don't want it to be just for a singular gender. I hate that idea, so don't want to do that. This was the kitchen. The kitchen had loads of diamonds in and things, so love the idea of just having random objects about, and I found that idea to be really fun, so I hope you're gonna like it too. Love the idea of having like really big diamonds, and they're all different sizes just amongst the build, and I loved that. Little pie chart there, have no idea why that was there, but that was there. And I think this area was just a really nice place. I do like this kitchen. I think that it's very subtle, and I was quite happy with it. I was quite happy with how it turned out. I don't know why, but I feel like when I was going through this and thinking of things that I could put in places, it all just seemed to come together and match, and I loved that. So it's not overly cluttered as well, like it's a very easily playable house. It's quite minimalistic, but it looks as if it's been lived in, and I would play in this house. Like, I would actually have a proper family in this house, and I would use this home for maybe some Sims. I would even use the Sims that were made for this house, and I think that it would be a really cool house to have for them. Going on to the upstairs. The upstairs was quite separate because they are just friends, of course, so they'd need separate rooms, but I would really like the idea of those two getting together at some point, but maybe for the time being, they're just separate, and they're just fine being separate at the moment because they're very career orientated. I actually like the idea that that happens because it's quite realistic. Every single couple is different, and I've known some couples to get together straight away, like my husband and I. In fact, the week we met, we pretty much knew that we were going to be together for life. And I've also known couples that have been together for maybe 10 years even, and they're still not sure about each other, or they'd rather just be friends but live together, and it's each their own. It's just what people prefer to do, and everybody's different, and I think that it's quite nice to have a mix every now and then. Maybe not a perfect family setting, or maybe a couple which is not really interested in a family aspect like children and things, because not everybody is. So that's one of the reasons why I like this couple, because they are diverse, and I love seeing diverse Sims, and I thought that that was a really cool idea of the creator. Anyway, this was the girls' bedroom, so I went with a colour scheme of yellows and greens and blues, and I really liked that. I'm hoping that in the future we'll get more bed choices, but I don't think that we will. I'm not trying to be negative, but I've been saying it for ages, and loads of other people have as well. Like, I watch other Simmers videos all the time. I watch other people's speed builds and stuff, and it just seems like the general feeling for builders is that bed choice is just running low. Like, there's only so many things you can do in a bedroom. And that's how I feel. So not to, of course, depress the mood here or make it seem like this room isn't a nice room or anything, because I think it's an okay room. Like, I'm okay with this room. It's fine. It does the job. But I would really like to go all out in the future and just have some really cool beds. And I just hope that we'll get that sort of stuff, because that's one of the things that worry me about The Sims 4. Seeing the lack of choice that we get with certain objects, I was always worried that what if we run out of stuff? And I'm starting to feel like that. Like, I'm starting to feel like we're running out of stuff. But anyway, this was the bathroom. The bathroom had that shower in. I've been very keen on using that shower recently. It's like the really high-tech one. I thought because this is the future, it's like a modern house, maybe that would be a perfect shower for this home. For secret agents, maybe it would be a really nice idea too. They have a massive gym in here. So there's a gym with like running machines and everything, and that's really cool. Some TVs. Apologies if you hear that massive tractor going past my house. My neighbours are at it again. Anyway, there's some wallpaper there, and I think that this room finished off quite nicely. It's quite basic, but it's a gym. Either way, I thought a gym would be very important because thinking about James Bond being a secret agent, I would imagine that he would maybe have a gym or something. My old boss really reminded me of Daniel Craig, is it? I don't know. Anyway, he had a gym, or at least the house that he lived in had a massive gym, and he was always in there. So that's what made me think about like a secret agent sort of career. So there we go. That was my mindset on that. And I think that the top room here, this was quite a nice room. It was very blue and plain again, but I used some stone and I thought that finished off quite nicely. This was when I decided to go that one bit further, or that extra mile rather, and I decided to put something here which would be like a secret entrance, and that's what I loved about this home. So it has some bushes there, and I like the idea of it being completely hidden and kept away. The basement was a room for just keeping random computers and things which I would expect secret agents to have. Of course, that door is massively locked. I was also thinking about putting a dungeon down here. I thought with my track records of dungeons recently, I thought I would be pushing it, because I thought no, because I can't, like, I've put too many, I've done too many dungeons recently, there's no point. That's what I thought, so didn't want to do that. I did put some of those massive study tables with the seats though, so the really unusual ones, the ones that look like really high tech and stuff, put them down there. And yeah, I just filled up the room with just random things. There's a little signal thing. Oh my goodness, what's it called? I have no idea. It's what you see, satellite, that's it. Yeah, you have one for your television. I thought for random things down here which might need to work, maybe that would be a good idea. I don't know what I was thinking, to be quite honest. And I just enlarged loads of stuff. I think that enlarging is so important and nice in a build like this because you can do so many things with enlarging objects. I love it, I really do. And of course the paintings, just the random things that you can get with the unlocked objects. So a lot of this stuff, only the diamond agents, I believe, could get. But not only that though, a lot of it is sciencey, and I think that maybe an element does overlap. Some professions do. I mean, you can get professions where they overlap in certain things, so I don't really know what's going to happen there. But anyway, that is the end of the build, so I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see your future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.